Unlike many plants and bacteria that can manufacture their own nutrients, human biology has an evolutionary quirk. We lost the ability to synthesize most of the microscopic compounds required to keep our cells alive. If we don't actively forage for them, our cells simply wait for an external delivery that never comes, and eventually they shut down. These externally required compounds are what we call vitamins. Specifically, there are 13 essential vitamins that the human body must continuously extract from the environment to survive. But getting these 13 compounds from your stomach into your cells introduces a logistical problem. The inside of your body is a primarily aqueous or watery environment. The barriers protecting your individual cells, however, are made of lipids, which are fats. And as a rule of chemistry, oil and water do not mix. To navigate these incompatible environments, the body divides the 13 vitamins into two completely different biological superhighways, routing them based on a single chemical property, how well they dissolve. This trait, their chemical solubility, dictates exactly how your body absorbs them, how long they stay in your system, and how often you need to put them on your plate. We start with the express lane. 9 of our essential nutrients, vitamin C and the 8B complex vitamins, are water-soluble. Because they dissolve easily in aqueous environments, these vitamins face almost no resistance during digestion. They slip directly through the lining of the small intestine and plunge straight into the high-speed traffic of the vascular bloodstream. This rapid delivery matches their biological purpose. Water-soluble vitamins act as first responders. They function as co-enzymes, locking into cellular machinery to immediately convert the carbohydrates and fats you eat into adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, the usable energy that powers your muscles and your brain. But this speed comes with a significant structural flaw. Because they dissolve so easily in water, the body has virtually zero capacity to store them in tissue for later use. As your blood continuously circulates, your kidneys act as a filtration system. Any water-soluble vitamins not immediately used by your cells are filtered out of the blood and flushed out of the body in your urine. This rapid processing means your internal supply is in a state of constant flux. You have to consume these vitamins almost every single day, because if the supply chain stops, rapid onset systemic failures follow. Diseases like scurvy from lacking vitamin C, or pellagra from lacking vitamin B3. The remaining 4 nutrients, vitamins A, D, E, and K, are fat-soluble. They physically repel water, which means they cannot travel freely through the bloodstream on their own. To absorb them, the liver secretes bile salts that act like biological detergents, trapping fat-soluble vitamins inside tiny lipid clusters called micelles. Inside the intestinal wall, these are repackaged into chylomicrons, bypassing the bloodstream entirely to enter the lymphatic system, a slower network. They eventually drain into circulation, but their final destination is not immediate energy production. Instead, these vitamins are delivered deep into the liver and into adipose tissue, your body fat, for long-term storage. Because they are physically sequestered in fat, you don't need to eat them every day. A healthy human can maintain reserves of vitamin A and D for months without a single dietary top-up. This storage capability offers an evolutionary buffer against famine. But it also introduces a severe danger. If you consume fat-soluble vitamins in massive excess, they don't wash out in your urine. They build up in your tissues, leading to a toxic condition known as hypervitaminosis. Once safely embedded in your tissues, fat-soluble vitamins step away from the daily metabolic grind and take on the role of long-term biological architects. They maintain your physical infrastructure. Vitamin A binds to cell nucleus receptors to transcribe genes and produce rhodopsin, a protein necessary for low-light vision. Meanwhile, vitamin E sits inside cellular membranes, intercepting reactive oxygen molecules to prevent your structural fats from degrading. These slow architectural timelines mean deficiencies manifest as gradual structural failures, appearing months or years after the supply chain breaks. Without enough vitamin D to regulate calcium, bones bow outward and deform under the body's own weight, a condition known as rickets. While water-soluble vitamins keep the engines running today, these fat-soluble molecules quietly operate in the background, serving as the deep structural foundation of your bones, your organs, and your immune system over the course of a lifetime. This chart shows the biological rhythms of the two vitamin groups. When we view them side by side, we see that solubility is really a mechanism for managing internal biological time. The water-soluble group acts as the daily workforce. Their levels are constantly spiking fast and dropping quickly to manage the high turnover demands of immediate metabolism. The fat-soluble group are the sequestered architects. Their concentrations smooth out into a steady, unbroken baseline, allowing them to carefully regulate and repair tissue over months. True nutritional balance requires synchronizing our dietary habits with these internal biological rhythms. To run efficiently, human biology requires us to respect that physical motion, providing a constant influx of transient fuel for the daily workers, while carefully building steady reserves to protect the architects.